I was invisible for many years. Nobody saw me. Nobody looked at me. Then, one day, a man saw me. I forgot to ask one important question. I forgot to ask if he was free. My name is Selena. I am 29 years old. I live in a small town. The town is quiet. The town is peaceful. My life is very quiet. I work at the town library. The library is old. The library is calm. The walls are brown. The windows are big. Light comes through the windows. Dust floats in the air. I put books on shelves every day. My steps are very light. Nobody hears me walk. I like the quiet. The quiet feels safe. Every morning, I wake up early. I make coffee. I drink it alone. I eat breakfast alone. Then I walk to work. The walk takes 10 minutes. I see the same houses. I see the same trees. I see the same people. The same people walk past me. They do not see me. They look through me. I am like air. I am like a shadow. I do not mind this. I like to be alone. Alone feels normal. Alone feels right. Books are my friends. Books do not leave. Books do not hurt me. Books do not ask questions. Books do not judge me. I read many books. I read about love. I read about adventure. I read about faraway places. I know many stories. I know happy stories. I know sad stories, but I do not have my own story. My life is the same every day. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. Nothing changes. Nothing happens. One Tuesday morning, everything changed. It was a normal day at first. I opened the library doors. I turned on the lights. I sat at my desk. I waited for people to come. Some people came. Some people left. I helped them find books. I checked out their books. It was normal. It was boring. Then, at 10 o'clock, a new man walked in. The door opened. He stepped inside. He was tall, very tall. He had dark hair. He had kind eyes. His eyes were brown, deep brown. He had a warm smile, a real smile, not a fake smile. He looked around the library. He looked at the shelves. He looked at the books. Then he looked at me. He walked to my desk. His steps were slow. His steps were quiet. He stood in front of me. He looked at me. He really looked at me, not through me, at me. I felt strange. My skin felt warm. My face felt hot. I looked down at my desk. I could not meet his eyes. My heart started to beat fast. He spoke. His voice was soft. His voice was gentle. His voice was deep. He said hello. He asked for help. He needed a book about history. I looked up. I met his eyes. They were so kind, so warm. I nodded. I stood up. My legs felt weak. I walked to the history section. He followed me. I found the book he wanted. I pulled it from the shelf. I gave it to him. Our hands touched for a second, just 1 second. But I felt it. I felt electricity. I felt something new, something strong. He thanked me. He said his name was Dorian. I told him my name. I said I was Selena. He smiled. He said Selena was a pretty name. Nobody ever said that before. Dorian took the book. He walked to a table. He sat down. He opened the book. He started to read. I walked back to my desk, but I could not work. I could not think. I could only look at Dorian. He was so handsome, so different, so real. Dorian read for 2 hours, 2 long hours. I watched him the whole time. I pretended to work. I moved papers around. I typed on my computer. But really, I just watched Dorian. Sometimes he looked up. Sometimes our eyes met. He smiled. I looked away fast. My face felt hot. At 12 o'clock, Dorian closed the book. He stood up. He walked back to my desk. He returned the book. He thanked me again. He said he would come back. He said he wanted to read more. Then he left. He walked out the door. The door closed. Dorian was gone. I stood there alone. I could still see him in my mind. I could still feel his eyes on me. I could still hear his voice, his deep, soft voice. That day felt different. That day felt special. Something had changed. Something had started. I did not know what, but I felt it. Deep in my heart, I felt it. Dorian came back the next week. It was Tuesday again. He came at the same time, 10 o'clock. I was waiting. I did not want to wait, but I was. I saw him walk through the door. My heart jumped. He smiled when he saw me. He walked straight to my desk. He returned his book. He said he finished it. He said it was very good. He thanked me for helping him. Then he asked for another book, a different book, a book about art. I helped him find it. We walked to the art section together. We stood close, very close. I could smell his cologne. It smelled good. It smelled like wood and rain. We talked for a few minutes. He asked me questions. He asked if I liked working here. I said yes. He asked if I liked books. I said I loved books. He smiled. He said he loved books too. We had something in common. This made me happy. This made me feel warm inside. Dorian took his new book. He sat at the same table, the table by the window. He read for 2 hours again. I worked. I tried to work, but mostly I watched Dorian. I watched him turn pages. I watched him write notes. I watched him smile at something funny. I loved watching him. When Dorian left, he waved goodbye. He said, "See you next week." Next week. Those words made me happy. He would come back. He wanted to come back. I waved back. I smiled. A big smile. A real smile. I had not smiled like that in years. Every week after that, Dorian came to the library. Every Tuesday, same time, 10 o'clock. I started to prepare for Tuesdays. I started to think about what to wear. I started to fix my hair nicely. I started to wear lipstick. Just a little, just enough. I wanted to look pretty. I wanted Dorian to notice me. And Dorian did notice. One Tuesday, he said I looked nice. He said my dress was pretty. My heart sang. I thanked him. My face turned red, but I was happy. So happy. Dorian saw me. Dorian liked what he saw. We talked more each week. We talked about many things. We talked about books. We talked about movies. We talked about music. We talked about life. Dorian told me about his work. He worked at a school, an elementary school. He was a teacher. He taught 4th grade. He taught children who were 9 and 10 years old. Dorian loved his job. His face lit up when he talked about it. He told me about his students. He told me funny stories. Stories about things the children said, things the children did. He made me laugh. I laughed so much. I had not laughed like that in years. Dorian made everything feel light. Dorian made everything feel happy. I told Dorian about my life too. I told him about the library. I told him about my favorite books. I told him about growing up in this town. I told him about my parents. They lived far away now. I did not see them much. Dorian listened. He really listened. He looked into my eyes. He nodded. He asked questions. He cared. Nobody had cared like that before. Weeks passed like this. We became friends, real friends. We laughed together. We shared stories. We shared dreams. I started to wait for Tuesdays. All week, I waited. Monday was too long. Wednesday felt empty. But Tuesday was perfect. Tuesday was Dorian's day. Tuesday was our day. I started to have new feelings, strange feelings, strong feelings. When I saw Dorian, my stomach felt funny. When Dorian smiled at me, my heart beat fast. When Dorian said my name, I felt special. I felt seen. I felt alive. These feelings scared me, but they also made me happy. So very happy. One Tuesday, something big happened. Dorian came to the library. We talked like always. We laughed like always. But then Dorian stopped talking. He looked nervous. He looked down. He looked up again. He took a deep breath. Then he asked a question. A new question. A different question. He asked if I liked coffee. I said yes. I loved coffee. My voice was quiet. My heart was loud. Then Dorian asked another question. He asked if I wanted to have coffee with him. Not here, not at the library, somewhere else, together. Just the two of us. My heart stopped. Then it started again. Very fast. Too fast. I looked at Dorian. His eyes were hopeful. His eyes were nervous. He was waiting for my answer. I opened my mouth. I said yes. Yes, I would love that. Dorian smiled. His whole face smiled. He looked so happy. I felt so happy. We planned to meet on Saturday at 2:00, at a small cafe. The cafe was called Rose Cafe. It was near the library, near the park. I knew that cafe. I walked past it every day, but I had never gone inside. Now I would go. With Dorian, my first date, ever. Saturday came so slowly. Wednesday felt long. Thursday felt longer. Friday felt like forever. But finally, Saturday arrived. I woke up early, very early. I was too excited to sleep. I looked through my closet. I tried on 5 different dresses. I chose a blue one. Blue was Dorian's favorite color. He told me that once. I fixed my hair. I put on makeup. Not too much, just a little. I wanted to look nice. I wanted to look pretty. I looked in the mirror. I looked different. I looked happy. I looked alive. This was new. This was scary. But this was also wonderful. I arrived at Rose Cafe at 2:00. Exactly 2:00. Dorian was already there. He was waiting outside. He wore a nice shirt, a white shirt. He looked so handsome. He saw me. He smiled. That warm, beautiful smile. He said I looked beautiful. Beautiful. Nobody ever called me beautiful before. We went inside the cafe. It was small. It was cozy. There were plants everywhere. There were pictures on the walls. Soft music played. We sat by the window. The window faced the street. We could see people walk by. We could see cars pass by. But I did not care about them. I only saw Dorian. We ordered coffee. Dorian ordered black coffee. I ordered coffee with milk and sugar. We also ordered cake, chocolate cake. We shared the cake. We ate from the same plate. Our forks touched. This felt intimate. This felt special. We talked for hours, so many hours. We talked about everything. We talked about childhood. We talked about school. We talked about our first jobs. We talked about fears. We talked about hopes. Dorian told me his dreams. He wanted to write a book for children. I said he should. I said he would be good at it. He smiled. He said, "Thank you." I told Dorian my fears. I was afraid of being alone forever. I was afraid nobody would ever love me. I was afraid I was not good enough. Dorian looked at me. His eyes were so soft. He said I was wrong. He said I was special. He said any man would be lucky to love me. My eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. Nobody ever said things like that to me. The hours passed so fast. Too fast. We looked at the clock. It was 6 o'clock. 4 hours. We had talked for 4 hours. The cafe was closing soon. We had to leave. But I did not want to leave. I wanted to stay there forever. With Dorian. Just with Dorian. We walked outside. The sun was going down. The sky was changing colors. Orange, pink, purple. It was beautiful. Dorian walked me home. We walked slowly, very slowly. We did not want the day to end. We stopped in front of my building. I lived in a small apartment. On the 3rd floor. Dorian looked at me. I looked at him. He took my hand. My heart stopped. His hand was warm. His hand was strong. He said he had a wonderful time. He said he wanted to see me again, soon. I said yes. I wanted that too, more than anything. Then Dorian did something I did not expect. He leaned down, slowly. His face came close to mine, closer, closer. Then he kissed me, soft, gentle, sweet. My first kiss with Dorian, my first real kiss ever. Everything stopped. The world stopped. Time stopped. There was only Dorian, only his lips, only this moment, this perfect moment. The kiss ended. I opened my eyes. Dorian was looking at me. He was smiling. I was smiling too. I felt like I was floating, like I was flying. Dorian said goodnight. I said goodnight. He walked away. I watched him go. I watched until I could not see him anymore. Then I went inside. I went to my apartment. I closed the door. I leaned against the wall. I touched my lips. I could still feel Dorian's kiss. I could still feel his warmth. That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed. I stared at the ceiling. I smiled. I felt so happy, so alive. This was love. I knew it. I felt it. I was falling in love with Dorian. And maybe, just maybe, Dorian was falling in love with me too. After that night, everything changed. We started to meet often, very often, not just on Tuesdays. Dorian came to see me every few days. We met for coffee. We met for walks. We met at the park. The park had a big lake. We sat by the lake. We watched the ducks swim. We threw bread to the ducks. We talked and talked. We talked about everything. Big things, small things, important things, silly things. Dorian told me his dreams. He wanted to travel. He wanted to see Paris. He wanted to see Rome. He wanted to see the whole world. I listened. I imagined going with him. I imagined us in Paris, walking by the river, holding hands. It was a beautiful dream. I told Dorian my fears, my deepest fears. I was afraid of being forgotten. I was afraid of being left behind. I was afraid that nobody would ever truly see me. Dorian listened. He did not laugh. He did not judge. He just listened. Then he said something beautiful. He said he saw me. He said he would never forget me. He said I was unforgettable. These words, these beautiful words, they filled my heart. They made me feel safe. They made me feel loved. I started to feel something deep, something I had never felt before. This was love, real love, true love. I was falling in love with Dorian. Every day, I fell deeper. Every day, I loved him more. Every time I saw Dorian, my heart sang. It sang a happy song, a beautiful song. Every time he smiled, I felt warm inside. Every time he said my name, I felt special. Selena, the way he said it, so soft, so gentle, like it was the most important name in the world. I loved hearing him say it. I loved everything about Dorian. One evening, we walked in the park. It was late. The sun was going down. The sky was beautiful. Orange, pink, red, gold. The colors were amazing. We walked slowly, hand in hand. His hand felt perfect in mine, big and warm and strong. Dorian stopped walking. We were by the lake. The water was calm. The water was still. It reflected the sky. It looked like a painting. Dorian turned to me. He looked into my eyes. His eyes were serious. His eyes were deep. He said he needed to tell me something. Something important. My heart started to beat fast. What did he want to say? Was it good? Was it bad? I waited. I held my breath. Dorian took my other hand. Now he held both my hands. He looked at me. He did not look away. Dorian said he cared about me very much. He said I was special, so special. He said he had never met anyone like me. He said being with me made him happy, made him feel alive, made him feel like himself. Real words, true words, honest words. I could not breathe. I could not speak. My eyes filled with tears, happy tears. Dorian let go of one hand. He touched my face, so gently. His thumb wiped away a tear. He smiled. That beautiful smile. That smile that made everything okay. Then Dorian kissed me, again. Like that first time, but different. This kiss was longer. This kiss was deeper. This kiss said everything. It said, I care. It said, I need you. It said, maybe I love you. I kissed him back. I kissed him with all my heart, with all my love, with everything I had. The kiss ended. We stood there, in the park, by the lake, under the colorful sky, holding each other. I felt complete. For the first time in my life, I felt complete. I felt whole. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be, with exactly who I was supposed to be with. We walked home together that night. Dorian walked me to my building. He kissed me goodbye. Another soft kiss. Another perfect kiss. Then he left. I watched him walk away. I watched him disappear into the dark. Then I went inside. I was floating. I was flying. I was in love. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Dorian and I grew closer. We saw each other almost every day. He became part of my life. I became part of his life. Or so I thought. I did not know the truth then. I did not know his secret. Dorian never invited me to his home. Never. Not once. We always met outside. We met at cafes. We met at parks. We met at the library. We met at restaurants, but never at his home. I did not think about this much at first. I thought he liked being outside. I thought he liked public places. I did not ask questions. I should have asked questions. I should have wondered why. One day, my friend Thalia saw us together. Thalia worked at the post office. She knew everyone in town. She knew all the news. She knew all the secrets. Thalia looked surprised. She looked worried. She pulled me aside later. She asked me about Dorian. She asked if I knew about Dorian. I said I knew Dorian. I said Dorian was special. I said I loved Dorian. Thalia looked sad. She looked at me with soft eyes. She said she needed to tell me something. She said it was important. My heart started to beat fast. I felt cold inside. Thalia told me the truth. Dorian was married. He had a wife. Her name was Margot. They lived together. They had a home together. They had been married for 5 years. My world stopped. My heart broke. I could not believe it. I did not want to believe it. I asked Thalia if she was sure. She said yes. She was very sure. Everyone in town knew Dorian and Margot. They were a couple. They went to church together. They shopped together. Everyone knew them. Everyone, except me. I was new to this town. I did not know the people well. I did not know the stories. I did not know Dorian had a wife. I went home that day. I cried and cried. My heart hurt so much. How could Dorian do this? How could he lie to me? Did he not love me? Was I just a game? I felt stupid. I felt used. I felt broken. I did not sleep that night. I thought about everything. I thought about all our meetings. I thought about all our talks. I thought about the kiss. Everything felt dirty now. Everything felt wrong. Dorian was not mine. Dorian was never mine. Dorian belonged to someone else. Dorian belonged to Margot. The next day was Tuesday. Dorian came to the library. He walked to my desk. He smiled his warm smile, but I did not smile back. I looked at him with cold eyes. I asked him to follow me. We went to the back room. We were alone. I asked Dorian the question. I asked if he was married. His face changed. His smile died. He looked down. He did not answer. I asked again. My voice was loud. I asked if he had a wife. Dorian looked up. His eyes were sad. He said yes. Yes, he was married. Yes, he had a wife. I felt sick. I felt angry. I asked why. Why did he lie to me? Why did he kiss me? Why did he say I was special? Dorian tried to explain. He said his marriage was not happy. He said he and Margot did not love each other anymore. He said they stayed together out of habit. He said he did not mean to hurt me. I told Dorian to stop. I did not want to hear excuses. He made a choice. He chose to lie. He chose to hurt me. He chose to hurt his wife. I told him I never wanted to see him again. I told him to leave. I told him to go back to his wife. Dorian looked broken. He tried to touch my hand. I pulled away. I turned my back to him. Dorian left the library that day. I stood in the back room. I cried alone. My heart was in pieces. I loved Dorian so much. But Dorian was not who I thought he was. Dorian was a liar. Dorian was a cheater. I was the other woman. I hated that. I hated myself. Days passed. Dorian did not come back. I was glad. I was also sad. I missed him. I hated that I missed him. I hated that I still loved him. Love does not die quickly. Love does not listen to reason. My mind knew Dorian was wrong. My heart still wanted him. This was my pain. This was my battle. I thought about Margot. Poor Margot. She did not know about me. Maybe she did know. Maybe she knew and stayed quiet. I felt sorry for her. She loved a man who lied. She loved a man who cheated. I wondered if I should tell her. But I did not know Margot, and I was a coward. I did not want more pain. Weeks went by. The library felt empty. Tuesdays felt heavy. I stopped wearing nice clothes. I stopped fixing my hair. I went back to being invisible. Nobody saw me again. This felt safe. This felt familiar. But now, it also felt lonely. Dorian had shown me what it was like to be seen. Dorian had shown me what love felt like, and then he took it away. One day, I saw them together, Dorian and Margot. They were at the market. They held hands. They looked like a regular couple. Margot was pretty. She had long hair. She had a kind face. She looked happy. Did she know? Did she know her husband kissed another woman? I hid behind a shelf. I watched them shop. Dorian picked up apples. Margot picked up bread. They talked quietly. They laughed. It looked so normal, so perfect. But it was a lie. I turned away. I left the market. That night, I made a decision. I needed to move on. I needed to forget Dorian. I needed to heal. This would not be easy. This would take time. But I had to try. I deserved better. I deserved someone who was free. I started to read more. I started to work more. I buried myself in books. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The pain became less sharp. The memories became less clear. I started to smile again. 1 year passed. I still worked at the library. I still lived alone. I still walked the same streets. But I was different now. I was stronger. I was wiser. I had learned a hard lesson. Not everyone who sees you truly sees you. Some people are not free to love. I was worth more than secrets and lies. Sometimes I still thought about Dorian. I wondered if he thought about me. I wondered if he told Margot. I wondered if they were still together. But these thoughts did not hurt as much anymore. They were just thoughts, just memories. I learned something important about myself. I could love deeply. I could feel strongly. This was not a bad thing. This was good. Yes, I loved the wrong person. Yes, I got hurt. But I was capable of love. My heart was not broken forever. My heart could heal. My heart could love again. One day, maybe I would meet someone new, someone who was free, someone who chose me, someone who did not hide me. Until that day came, I was okay. I was enough on my own. The library was quiet today. I put books on shelves. My steps were light. Nobody heard me walk. But now I knew something. Being invisible was my choice. I could choose to be seen. When the right person came, I would be ready. I would not hide. I fell for a married man. This was my mistake. This was my pain. But this was also my lesson. I learned about love. I learned about loss. I learned about myself. And now I was free. Free from Dorian. Free from the lies. My name is Selena. I am 30 years old now. I work at the library. I live in a small town. My life is quiet, but it is my life. It is honest. It is real. And someday, it will be full of real love. The sun sets outside. The sky turns pink and orange. It reminds me of that evening with Dorian, but I do not look away. I watch the sunset. I let myself feel. I let myself remember. And then I let it go. I close the library. I walk home. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow, I choose hope.